Yeah, I was gonna say you're not very hairy. All right. Welcome to AM Whiskey. I'm Mark. This is Aaron, and we're gonna review Pappy 15. This is an older bottle. It's a 2014 release. There isn't a whole lot left, so we better review it now before it's empty. It's 107 proof. This is one of those everybody's after it, everybody's got to have it bottles, and it's an older one. It's been open a long time, almost a solid 9 years it's been open. Yeah,
I see a resemblance.
Yeah. I wish I had a cigar.
I mean, this is one of them big boys that everybody's looking forward to, so I'm very grateful Mark decided to bring out this bottle so that we could give it a good review. And
yeah, we'll see what it's like, right? Is it gonna stack up to all the other bottles, all the other reviews? Is it really worth the hunt?
I'll say this: early on in my bourbon journey, Mark gave me a pour of this, and at that point, part of it was probably the mystique, the nostalgia, the Pappy Van Winkle name and reputation, but I was like, damn, now I know what a really good bourbon tastes like. So now that I'm further along in my journey and have had a lot of other bourbons, some very good bourbons, I'll be interested to see what I think of this at this part of my journey. I mean, it's got
legs for days.
It's got good legs, good staying power.
Off the nose, I barely get any spice. There is a hint of spice, but I get caramel. I get caramel apple. I actually can smell apple on this right now.
I mean,
this bottle.
It is a Buffalo Trace, so you're probably not going to get a lot of spice. I mean, Buffalo Trace is famous for being very sweet forward. I mean, I get some green apple. I get some caramel.
I don't think I've ever gotten green apple off of this bottle before. I've gotten caramel. I've gotten caramel bomb off this bottle. Man. It's been open, like I said, a long time. Usually on the nose on this bottle, I get the caramel, like the caramel squares and stuff. Real creamy. Today it's a little bit fruitier for me for some reason.
Yeah, right off the bat, this nose is excellent.
Yeah.
It's not... I think on the nose, 1 to 10, I'm giving this an 8.75. And the only thing that's holding it back for me on the nose is a little bit of that complexity that sometimes I look for. I'm not getting any of that spice, not really getting any oak on it. It's very, very sweet. Now, there's a couple different sweet notes in there. There's the caramel. There is that green apple that is just very prominent on this for me. Really is. Like, I don't think I've ever had it that prominent. I think I'm going 8.5 on the nose.
I'm going 9. Just simply because green apple or apple on a nose is so rare to find. And I'm not a huge nut profile or spice guy. I like a little bit of spice, but not a ton.
100%, I can see that.
This fits most of what I'm looking for.
Yeah. This, you can tell as soon as you put this to your nose that this is something special, though.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it when you smell this that you're like, okay, this is a little different.
The very front of the palate, there's a little spice that goes right along with the sweet, and the spice for me is carrying through with the sweet all the way through. It's still going.
That oak that I was missing on the nose, I got right on the front of my palate, and then it just exploded into that caramel vanilla note with just that hint of spice towards the back of that palate. But that was just caramel vanilla, that oak up front.
I'm getting so much caramel. I'm not really getting a lot of anything else. Like the apple characteristic that I got on the nose, I'm not getting on the palate.
I'm not getting any apple on the palate. It's some people would say this is a caramel bomb.
Oh, it is.
and it's
It's a caramel bomb. Like I can barely, like there's a part of the caramel bomb that's kind of creamy, and I think that's where the vanilla note comes in. The flavor of vanilla isn't shining through, but there's a creaminess to it. That's good. It's real good.
I mean, that little bit of oak that I was missing on the nose comes through on the palate and just really rounds this out for me. It's not a tannic oak. It's kind of a dry oak, but sweet, and it just is followed by caramel and even some just like confectioner sugar on the back there. Any spice here is very muted. Not a lot of spice. I mean, I've said about a lot of Buffalo Trace products that they're kind of a one note wonders. They do sweet and not a lot else, but they do it so well. This, and I'm guessing some of the older aged products add a little bit of the oak to that. You're not going to get a lot of spice. I mean, I think their high rye mash bill is 13-15%. Nobody knows for sure, but that's what they're saying is the rye is 13 to 15% on their high rye side. So you're not going to typically get a lot of spice.
This is a weeder. There is no rye.
This is the weeder, yeah.
There is no rye.
Oh man,
This is the wheat mash bill.
Yeah.
So it's corn, wheat,
and the
barley.
malted barley, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, there is no rye.
Oh,
And what's interesting, so since this is a weeder, there's no wheat from it.
oh no.
Because you normally pick up on the frunk right away, and it hasn't. That you haven't mentioned it one
Nope.
bit. It's
I
not
would
in
not,
the nose. It's not in the palate.
which is probably why I was
It's not
talking
in the
about the
finish.
rye,
Yeah,
because
you're.
I don't get that wheat funk from
Yeah.
it, but this is
No,
definitely.
the spice you get on this is coming from that wood and from the ABV of 107.
I mean, I'm right out gonna say that. Putting that as a weeder, this is the best weeder that I've probably ever had.
Yeah.
By far. So I'll give it that right off the bat.
Yeah.
But as far as bourbon, I mean, this is. It's got the reputation it's got for a reason. It's a damn good bourbon.
The palate, I'm gonna give it an 18. Right, 2 points off of perfect. It's really good. I'm probably on the high side. Because it's hitting those things that I enjoy most in bourbon, and it's doing them really well. It's not overly super complex, but for the things it does those things exceptionally well.
Yeah, I'm going with a 17.5.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit lower than you. And again, that is because of that. Like, I like a little spice to my bourbon. I like getting a little bit more full flavor, but this just does what it does so well. And it's not just the sweet, you get that little bit of oak. And yeah, I mean, I'd be interested to see if I'd give it the same blind, because
I think you would.
I mean, having this guy staring at me in the face, I mean, come on,
No.
look at this.
No,
Beautiful.
you've drank enough whiskey at this point where you pick up on things. It drinks how it drinks.
It's gonna be a high whiskey regardless, but again, sometimes it's hard to separate the juice from the experience. And when you are lucky enough to know that you're drinking a Pappy with everything that goes along with it, I think that's gonna bump up everything just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Subconsciously, not even thinking about it, that juice is gonna just taste a little bit better because of the bottle. But that being said, the juice is fantastic by itself.
Would you go for finish? I went 8.5 because it goes. I mean, it's a solid minute finish, right? Every sip. In fact, I haven't had a sip for I don't know how long. You can look in the video. I still can taste the caramel.
I went 8.
Mm-hmm.
It's a solid finish.
It's good.
It's maybe, I mean,
You don't have anything left like usual.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Well, here's the funny part of the video. Last but not least, price and availability. What are you going to give it for price and availability? Normal retail on this is supposed to be $149, $150-ish. You're never going to find it like that. If you find it like that, I recommend buying it. You just can get a lottery ticket. The best way to get this bottle is to win it in a lottery. Most times I see this in a store on a shelf, they want $2,500. And guess what? Some of them bottles sit for months,
And
maybe a year.
This is the caveat here, because at MSRP, this is a 10 out of 10 on price.
Yep.
Because at MSRP, that's a buy all day long. That's a buy, and that's a back up and back up and back up.
Yeah.
But again,
Most bigger liquor stores are lucky to get one bottle a year. Like your local liquor store that sells a good amount of liquor, you're gonna get 1, 2, maybe 3 of these tops annually.
yeah.
Right, so it's not available.
And that's the problem. And because it's not available, that allows people to put it on the shelf for $2,500. I've seen this for $3,000. And they'll just let it sit there because they may only get one bottle a year, so they're going to try and maximize what they can get out of that one bottle. And they'll let it sit there for somebody who's going to come in and says, I can't find it, so I'm going to pay that $3,000 because I've heard so much about it. You got to get in a lottery to try and win one of these. And if you're lucky enough, you get one, you get it around MSRP all day long.
It ends up being like this one, right? 9 years old.
Yep.
Right? Only special occasions, special things. I gave it a 1. I gave it 1 point, and the 1 point is for you get lucky and you win it in the lottery.
I'm going to go more than 1 point, and I'm going to give it a 3. The reason I'm giving it a 3 is because, again, availability, it's like a negative 10. But that price at MSRP is a 15. So if you can get it, like, I gave it a 3, mostly because of availability and the fact that price, if you do see it, is going to be ridiculous. I would not pay $2,500 for this bottle.
Well, then that begs the question I wanted to ask. What would you pay? You don't have one. You've drank it. You know what it was.
You don't have one. You have a special occasion coming up. You know you bring a bottle of Pappy, it's going to be an experience for everybody that's involved. At this point, we're not just talking about the whiskey anymore. We're talking about the experience that you're going to have with the people you choose to open and drink this with. At that point, the price goes up. And again, then it's going to be more about the occasion I'm buying it for than the actual whiskey in the bottle. For the actual whiskey in the bottle, if I'm a whiskey enthusiast, I don't necessarily need the hype. I'm not buying it for a special occasion. I might go $350. I would probably pay for this. And part of that is going to be because it's a Pappy.
Yeah, because of the hype.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it's no way to not get away from that influence a little bit.
Right. The juice, probably not worth $350.
Yeah.
But it's damn close.
Yeah,
But it's that other part of the bottle. Now, if this was for a special occasion and I had some friends that I was going to drink this with, a bachelor party or a wedding or, you know, a birth or something special, I might go up to $1,000 on this bottle, depending on the occasion, but $2,500 to me is nuts. I just don't think any bottle of whiskey is worth that much to me. But and again, that $1,000 is more for the experience, the event, than it is for the juice.
Yeah, I feel like for me, the bourbon that's inside, it's $250, $300. Like once you get to that
That's fair.
point,
That's
I'd
fair.
rather, if I had to pay that kind of money for a bottle, I'd either probably start looking at like a Middleton Very Rare, maybe a Redbreast 21, There might be some other things I might look for, and I'm also leaving the bourbon genre.
Yeah, he's going
to,
Irish.
I'm
so
going Irish to find that
that's him.
bang
I'm
for
not
the
an
buck
Irish
and
guy.
value, because the bourbon market is so overpriced and overhyped. And
It's not near Scotch though.
no, I'm not a
Scotch
Scotch.
is
I'm not a Scotch guy,
crazy.
right? But I think in some of the
Me
real high-end Irish, you start getting a lot of bourbon characteristics, and the bang for buck and price starts changing. You know, special occasion, $500-600. If it's something really, really, really special, or if I'm going in on it with people, then maybe the budget goes up. Whiskey in a bottle, I look, if I see it for $300, I'm buying it, right? Not even gonna bat an eye at it, and I'm gonna drink it.
I mean, to be honest, if I see this at 500 or below, I really have to think about it on whether I'm gonna pull that trigger, and it's gonna depend on, you know, a lot of things. But at $500 and below, I have to. I'm considering it. $300 and below, I'm buying
Gone, sold.
Yep.
To the guy over there.
it.
Well, thank you very much for joining us on AM Whiskey. What was your total points, Aaron?
I gave it a 37 total.
And I was a 36.5.
But to be fair, price and availability is what drug this down.
Oh,
it
yeah.
really is.
Without it,
Without
it's a mid 40s.
It's up there.
It's a mid lower 40s. Thank you for joining us on AM Whiskey. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. We'll have a new video out to you soon.
Leave your comments below. If there's something you want us to review, let us know. We'll see if we can get our hands on it and review it. Have a great day.